So partly because the audio got messed up in this video for whatever reason when I was filming it, and also because I just did an unboxing of a Credo 1 to 6 sent in by Abel, I'm going to skip through all this, minutia and get straight to the point where we actually look at the optic and just go over it real quick. With all of that being said, I'm going to make this very quick. Fast focus eyepiece in the rear has a little bit of grit in there, but this is a used scope. The owner of this that had this previously loved the thing, but he was ready for something else, just like I was with the Voodoo. There is zero play on this thing whatsoever, even though that grit is very annoying. You have multiple positions for your little cattail. Magnification ring is incredibly smooth, perfectly damped and weighted, basically as perfect as you can get. If you can't grab the cattail, the knurling on this, which isn't really knurling, it's more splining, is perfect. Just enough purchase on there without having to worry about slipping and or biting your finger with it being too sharp. As you can see, the 2 is just around 6 and the 10 is just around 12, so about 180 degrees rotation between minimum and maximum magnification. Illumination is powered by a standard CR2032 battery, and it looks like it's held in there basically as well as one can expect. You got multiple fingers on the side, good positive contact on the negative terminal on the battery, and you have a nice big spring putting constant pressure down with it, and a nice big O-ring for weather sealing. Illumination controls are from 1 to 10 with offs in between. Feels absolutely fantastic. Excellent damping, very positive click, and once you're in there, you don't have to worry about this thing coming out of it. You could see how much effort it's requiring for me to try to move it out, because you could see just how white my fingernails are getting. Perfect. This scope is obviously in mils, and as you can see, we have 8 mils per rotation. The turret feels and sounds very good. Maybe a touch bit on the mushy side, but it snaps into position perfectly basically anywhere that you are. There is no sort of lock on this, so don't expect this thing to have one. However, it does have a 0 stop, so I'll be adjusting that later. The windage, as you saw, was capped, which is great because the reticle in this is a big tree, and for me that's perfect because I don't really dial in for windage for long shots anyway. You can clearly see this is properly labeled with L1 and R1, which means that you know exactly which way you're going to bring the bullet to the reticle. This knob actually feels and sounds better than the elevation knob, though that's probably only because this was used less than the elevation knob. This thing is also very lightweight, or at least it feels it, and at 23 ounces for a 2 to 10 by 36, I'd say that's pretty good. But you know what? Enough talking about it. Let's take a quick look at this. Alright, so a couple things we have to keep in mind. Number 1 is a fixed parallax, so there's no real adjustment on that. 2, it's a 2 to 10, which means that it shouldn't be too far off from the 1 to 8 AccuPower that I reviewed, which is the whole reason why I wanted this, because I figured it would be pretty sharp, basically from minimum to maximum magnification, until you look at it right now at its maximum magnification, and it really doesn't look all that good, and it's rather disappointing. The illumination, on the other hand, is actually halfway decent, but honestly, I'm just going to wait for the full review, because this thing on paper should be awesome, and it just falls ever so short, and makes it much more annoying than it needs to be. This thing had potential to be absolutely superb for a scout rifle like I was building, and you know what? It's just not there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time. And a very huge thank you to all of my Patreon providers. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. If you'd like to help support the channel but don't want to join my Patreon, I completely understand.
but you can still help support by using my affiliate links in the description below. Thanks again for watching.